Happy Wednesday, everybody. My name is Ian Utilli. I'm one of the co-producers at NFT NYC, and I'm here with Jay. And we're going to talk a bit about what you and your team are doing in the NFT space. And I'm looking forward to it. As I said before we started, I'm inquisitive. There's so much I want to learn. So first, I'd like to learn about you. And Quantstamp, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Jay Farrell. I've been in the blockchain space for about 8 years now. I've been at Quantstamp for the last 4. And the NFT space, I've been kind of dabbling a little bit, helping with a few projects. I think I've been really interested in how it's captivated a lot of communities near and dear to my heart in the NFT and art spaces. And then at Quantstamp, we're trying to secure the assets in your digital nation. So that can be anything. And of course, we have our foot in a lot of different places, including NFTs. So we secured Super Rare. We've worked with the Beeple B20 project. Dapper Labs for NBA Top Shot. So we really like to be involved, and we've been recently onboarding a few people for sort of an internal NFT team.
How fun! Yeah, well, I'm wearing one of Dapper Labs' original OG T-shirts that I got from.
Oh my goodness, those are hard to come by.
I think I got this from Mickey at Consensus 3 years ago. He's like, "You want a shirt?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll take some stickers too." My kids love those stickers. So
I got some of those original stickers, but those are hard to come by.
Yes, they are. I know. I don't like giving away. My kids can have them, but that's about it. Otherwise, I enjoy having those. A big part of all things Web3 is community and the decentralized nature of community. Maybe we could talk about DAOs in a moment, but in terms of DACs, the just decentralized autonomous communities that are being spun up, that you in some ways are supporting, in other ways maybe your team has been leading the charge. You've been in this space for 8 years, so certainly you've seen a lot of talk, and now maybe there's more action behind the talk than ever before. Can you give us some insight on the importance of community and community development?
I mean, without community, this technology doesn't really work. Maybe parts of it do, but generally speaking, a lot of it doesn't. I think I tend to lean more decentralization maximalist, and I do feel that a lot of projects tend to be better when there's a lot more community involvement. And coming from brick and mortar spaces, this technology sprung from communities to begin with. So it's core to the nature of blockchain, and when you look at NFTs, it's everywhere. I mean, the NFT community is amazing. It's artists coming together and holding each other up. But it's very different than, say, trying to necessarily coordinate. But there's some parallels, of course. But it's fundamental to everything.
Yeah. One thing is decentralized communities, another is decentralized organizations. Do you have some insights and thoughts on DAOs and the development of those?
Yeah, so I have been looking at DAOs, or the concept, I should say, of DAOs for a long time. I've more started to recently look into how DAOs have progressed and more in a practical sense. Practical sense, we see them using Discord, Snapshot, and some contract that has a bunch of funds in it. But how it originated was, well, how do we have an autonomous group of people that can coordinate with existing systems or not, and not have to have necessarily formalized structures? How do we minimize the barrier to entry for people to commit work? It's a fundamental problem with just mass coordination games, and we're seeing these get to the level that they're just so quick to spin up, And that's, really amazing to see. So I'm, starting to get back into it, and I'm trying to think about, well, okay, things that I was thinking about, say, 7, 8 years ago, how can that be applied now? And can we solve for wide uh, incentives for a lot of people, and bring those kinds of funding to net costs, which are what, a small group of people would have a very narrow incentive to work together. So social needs, for example, a group of people that have a shared common need is as an example of this. But there's an capital, or there's maybe potentially a way to monetize or to drive capital into it. But at the end of the day, it's generally a net expenditure. And I think DAOs are a fundamental part of this. And so I'm really looking into how I can be a part of that, and help drive sort of that, that framework.
Well, I imagine that there is many people that will benefit from your insights and also your leadership. You've been in 8 years in the blockchain space. It's a long time. And being at one company, Quantcast, for 4 years is a longer stay than most keep. Can we talk a bit about the future? It's often said, look at the past to know what's going to be ahead. I like to think of the future in terms of what's a positive outcome you'd love to see, because ideally people can build toward that potential outcome. So if I say to you, NFT 2024, what type of things come to mind?
2024. I think the space overall will have grown a significant amount. I firmly believe QuantStamp will have been very much a part of that growth into mainstream. And I think, we're going to move beyond, or we're not going to move away from, but I think we are going to continue to evolve and move beyond simply collectibles and art. That's going to be a significant portion of the market. But digital rare goods are going to increasingly be part of, the future metaverse, but also just the future of how we interact with each other and our and ourselves, even in IRL. We've already finally begun to see more people relying on their phones for payment, and it really kind of kicked up because of COVID. And you go to a restaurant, and I'm in one right now, and you go to scan a QR code to get your menu. There could be some UX fixes there, but generally speaking, I mean, that's a crypto paradigm. When are we just going to also have our, payment terminal everything's already, all the pieces are there. So it's just it's a user problem at this point. So 2024, there's just going to be so many more users. Personally, I am a believer in the whole super cycle, but you never know. We don't really know. I am not a person to take investment advice from, but this isn't going away. The cat's out of the bag, and it's not going back in.
Right. Yep. Well, we like to keep these interviews short, make them shareable, a good chance for people to get to know you and Quantcast quickly. We're excited to see you in New York, so I'll see you there in a couple of weeks. Any final thoughts that you'd like to share with the community before we wrap this up?
I'd come meet with the QuantStamp team when we're in New York, or when we're in anywhere. And, we'd love to, if you ever see me, come say hi. And, always willing to give my advice or my thoughts. But, doesn't mean it's good advice. So who knows?
Well, I notice the humility by which you share, and I appreciate it. So thank you for joining us. Thanks for being part of the event. We're glad that you are. For those that might be watching us live or that see the archive of this, thank you for your attention. I'll be back again with another pre-event interview.